Yeah, this is the next morning. These are the leftovers. This is the gravy. And this is the chicken. I wanted to say two things, guys. One, like I said, this one is from the Royal Chef. This is an easy recipe that I saw on the page of the Royal Chef, you know, the previous chef of the Queen of England and the princes and the princesses. But I wanted to share it with you because I adapted it to the hot air fryer. He didn't make it with hot air fryer. He was in his fancy, big, huge kitchen and his fancy big oven. So I just wanted to say, to see if I can make this with a hot air fryer. And I did, and it turned out perfect. And that's why I'm sharing it with you. Another thing that I want to say is that if you're going to make potatoes from the oven, take a casserole that's spacious and make sure that you do not put too many potatoes in there, because for the potatoes to succeed from the oven, they need a little bit of oil, a little bit of salt, and space. So do not cramp too much in there. Give them the space. That's actually the two things that I forgot to tell you. That's it. So yes, so this is my own adaptation. This is not something that I've seen elsewhere. And I just wanted to make sure that we can make this with a hot air fryer too. And like you see, we can. You're very welcome, guys. Have a wonderful day, and please try this out. It's healthy and it's delicious. And again, the perfect meal for kids. If you have family members coming over these holidays who have kids, like I said, we all know, I have many nieces and nephews. I know how difficult it can be with food. It's either pizza or fries. If you put them anything, no matter how fancy it is, especially meat, if it's too spiced, too herbal, too whatever, too marinated, they won't eat it. So this is perfect. Hi guys, welcome back to this channel. Thank you so much for coming back. If you're new, then welcome. We hope to see you many times. Today we're going to be making another easy recipe, and mainly a recipe that I learned from the chef of the royal family from the UK. So I was watching him and he made it look so easy. You know, what we will be making today, just like roasted chicken with some vegetables, but then like the very basic variation of that. Now I know that I shared with you a roasted chicken the Moroccan way, meaning a chicken that was, you know, pretty much spiced and marinated and all that. But what he did was supposed to be something that the kids of you know, Diana and Charles, Prince Charles and Diana, love to have. So what he did was, because he was making this recipe for the kids, he left almost all the spices and everything out. So it's really almost just plain chicken and plain vegetables. And I don't know, I like the idea. I like how it looked. So I thought, let me just try and do some sort of a tryout of this recipe, you guys. And if it works, then you know, if I can make it, everyone can make it. So what do we need for today? You need a chicken. We need some potatoes. We need a little bit of flour. We need a little bit of black pepper, some salt, some smoked paprika. Miko, you can't believe this, you guys. I'm not making this up. He was quiet all the time. As soon as I hit the record button, he's starting. Where was I? So smoked paprika powder, or just regular paprika powder, some broccoli, some frozen peas, chicken broth tablet, and some carrots. And then of course, the hot air fryer or the oven. But I will be making my chicken with hot air fryer because I know that this thing will not disappoint. Like I said, we already shared with you a roasted chicken recipe here on this channel that you can find in the hot air fryer playlist, and it was delicious and it was great. So yes, I have all the confidence in this thing. We're not sponsored, by the way. So let's start. First, the first thing that I always like to do is take the chicken out, wash your hands, take the chicken out, put it in lukewarm water, add a little bit of vinegar, and just let it sit for a couple of minutes, just to make sure that, you know, you're getting rid of the bacteria. And I know one of you asked me, why do I always try to disinfect the chicken that way if it's going into the oven anyway? And to me, that was an interesting question, because I never, and I hope you don't either, I never take the chicken out of the package and then whoop into the oven or the hot air fryer. That's something that I would never do. Know that the chicken has been through many hands, the people that defeathered it, the people that packaged it and all that. So whether it's machine or the air in the fabric or the people that are doing the packaging, I don't care. It's just, you need to disinfect it before you start working with it. Plus, like I said, it's not like that you're taking the chicken from the package and right into the oven. So you want to touch it, you want to check if all the feathers are gone, you want to marinate it, all that. So I cannot imagine that anyone would not try to do anything to at least disinfect as much as possible the chicken you're working with before you continue and start doing whatever you want to it. So I'm sorry, but I had to share this bit with you guys. So yes, I'm gonna take it out, add it in the sink with a little bit of warm water and then a little bit of vinegar. Let it sit for a couple of minutes, then wash my hands really good before I take it out, and then we're gonna continue with the rest of the recipe. At this point, your oven, because we need this and we need the oven too. Your oven should be preheating at around 180 degrees. So guys, after cleaning it, like I said, with a little bit of vinegar, add it in there, and just drizzle a little bit of salt. A little bit of salt all over the chicken, turn it around and around, and just, salt it in a little bit, not too much, and add it in there. And we're gonna do this gradually in stages of 4. 160 degrees, we start with 160, 15 minutes. Guys, by the way, I'm sorry, it's 150, not 160, but 150 degrees for 15 minutes. And like I told you before in the other video that I made with the spiced roasted chicken, you can also trust the machine and go for the chef's program. What it does is, it doesn't matter what you put in there, as long as it's meat. What the machine does, what the hot air fryer does, is that it weighs how much in there, and then it calculates more or less how much, what temperature and how long. But I don't know, sometimes it tends to go too fast for the chicken, for my taste. So I just like to give it a little bit more time to have it roasted slowly and thoroughly, for sure. So that's that. So it's gonna be in 4 stages. The first stage is 150 degrees, 15 minutes. Now, like I said, this is a perfect recipe. For example, now around the holidays, if you get family members with kids, kids are usually very difficult to please when it comes to food. The better the recipe is, the more they hate it. All they want is fries, mayonnaise, things not too spiced, preferably no spices at all, no herbs and all that. So this is perfect. This will be like a perfect recipe for that. Meanwhile, I'm gonna clean the potatoes, peel them, do the same thing with the carrots, and then I'm gonna clean the broccoli and come back to you guys, because we're gonna be boiling these vegetables for about 5 to 8 minutes, and then we're gonna oil them with a little bit of sunflower oil and a little bit of salt, and then put them in the oven to roast them a little bit. It's gonna be delicious. So let's do that. So guys, the first 150 have passed. This is our chicken. Okay, I know it looks a little bit gross, but we're gonna turn it on its breast. So turn it on its breast, so like this, flip it, and then the heat should be 155 on, again, 15 minutes. So let's do that. All right, so there it goes. 155 and another 15 minutes. All right, there it goes. Meanwhile, I just cleaned the potatoes, I cut them, I cleaned the carrot and I cut them, and I'm about to clean the broccoli and just cut it in little pieces. Well, not too little, because we do not want the broccoli to fall apart. Okay, so I'm gonna cook this in a pan with cold water. Start with cold water, you guys, and then once it boils, let it boil a little longer for 5 or 6, 7 minutes tops. That's what I'm gonna do, and then come back to you. So while waiting on the chicken and the vegetables, clean the sink because chicken was in there. So we really need to clean and disinfect it. That will give you something to do while waiting. All right, so this was the second 155 that passed by. 155 minutes. See, it's already getting a crust. Now, before I turn it around, because we're gonna do another 155. I'm sorry, another 155. I'll put it all in the description below. Now, before I turn it around, I'm gonna spray it with oil this time. Okay, so spray with oil like this. This is olive oil, but you can use whatever oil you want. Just be generous with the oil. Then turn it around and do the same with the other side, and then again in 155 on another 15 minutes. Sorry guys, I need to talk loud because otherwise we're gonna get a copyright strike. I forgot to put the music on pause. Geez, finally the water is boiling. So as soon as it reaches this, give it another 5 to 6 minutes, 7 tops. So guys, the vegetables have been boiling for 5 minutes. Again, for those of you that are still learning to cook, boiling means when the water starts to boil, then 5 minutes from that point. Okay, so I'm gonna drain it, but don't get rid of the water, because when I make broth, I always like, when I'm making vegetable also, I always like to keep of the both world, to say so. So the vegetables plus I'm gonna add a chicken broth tablet in there. So that plus the flavors of the vegetables in the water is going to be delicious. The broth is always delicious. So I'm going to drain it, but hold on to whatever water comes out. Okay? You get the idea, guys. So guys, what we're going to do now is get one of these casserole dishes. And that's where we will be adding the potato and the carrot in there. Then sprinkle them generously with oil and a little bit of salt, and then it goes into the oven on 200 degrees, and then keep checking until it has the nice crust and the nice texture, crispiness and all that, and gooiness that you like. So keep checking on it. This depends. I cannot give you the time because I don't know what kind of vegetable, potatoes, carrots and all that you're using. It depends, and it differs, you guys. So it's sometimes different. So I'm gonna replace this, take this and add it in here. Again, a little bit of oil, a little bit of salt, mix it well, and then add them into the oven on 200 degrees. All right, there it goes in our preheated oven, our tiny oven. All right guys, so now I'm gonna make the chicken broth. It depends on what kind of chicken broth you have. I don't know where you are, but here in Holland, usually it's 1 tablet for 1 liter. So I got 1 liter out of the vegetable water, what the vegetable boiled in. So I'm gonna add 1 of these tablets and then let it simmer. So like, it doesn't really have to simmer as long as the tablet dissolved completely. So keep stirring it every now and then. All right, so that was the third. Mike, the TV is on. It's on here. So that was the third stage. So now the fourth and last, we're gonna take the temperature down to 150. Okay, guys, remember 150 this time. This is the last stage. Again, spray with some oil all the sides, and then we're gonna turn it back on its breast, and that will be it. And that's it, you guys. It looks good. It smells good. What else do you want? Oh, by the way, I always separate the thigh from the rest of the chicken, because sometimes, I don't know, sometimes the heat tend to have trouble getting in there, so I don't want to end up with any part of the chicken that's not cooked well. So I just do an incision there and there, and that's it. All right, so again, spray it with oil, flip it around on its breast, and then let it go on 150 degrees for another 15 minutes. So the chicken broth is ready. I also want a little bit of peas. I'm gonna boil them in the chicken broth, let them simmer a little bit. And when they reach the softness that you like, but don't let them get mushy. It's nice if you still have them round, but it's very hard sometimes, they sneak up on me and get too mushy before I notice. So Anyway, do them in there, let them get a little bit soft, the softness that you like. Then take them out and still hold on to the chicken broth, because we need that. We're going to make a little bit of a gravy, but for that we only need the chicken broth, just the fluid. So, but like I said, I always try to use the broth for multiple purposes. So guys, there's the chicken. Remember, this is just the oil that I just used because I just cleaned this whole thing to make the vlog about how to clean this thing. So anyway, there it is. See how crispy it is? Now I'm gonna take it out because I need the oil on the bottom of this basket. I need the oil to make gravy with that. So I'm gonna take the chicken out, then put the chicken back and put it on the function where this machine keeps your food on temperature. So we're not going to cook it any further. I'm just gonna keep it on temperature. But first I need the oil on the bottom. So take everything out, get the oil, and then put everything back and let the chicken there on temperature until you're done with the whole thing. Because remember, we still have vegetables in the oven. Look at that. We need all of that. We need all of that to make the gravy with. So yes. Now quickly put the chicken back. We do not want it to get cold, and then do the temperature on 160, and then keep it on temperature for 30 minutes. This thing can only do this for 30 minutes max. So I just tasted some of the peas. They're exactly like I want them. So I'm gonna take them out, drain them, keep the chicken broth, you guys. I cannot stress this enough, because that together with the chicken fat and oil is what will be the base of our gravy. And then we're almost done. So the way I do it is like this, and then add all of this in there. I will end up with the broccoli and the peas, and at the same time what I need for the gravy. So there's the whole thing. Add it back in here. So guys, now for the gravy we need black pepper, grind like generous amount in there, and about 2 or 3 little tablespoons of flour in there. Depends on how thick you want it. And then keep stirring it and let it simmer till it gets a little bit thicker. Yes, I forgot the paprika powder. Should have mixed that with potatoes. I'm sorry guys, but you go ahead and do that. You know, make sure that you do that on time. So that's what I'm gonna do. So again, I'm gonna add a little bit of flour in here, about 2 tablespoons maybe, or 3, and then the grind black pepper in there. So once you've added everything in there, whisker it really good. Make sure that the flour dissolves completely. Guys, it smells so good, especially with all those vegetables that left their flavors in there as a gift for you and me. Alright, so I'm gonna keep whisking this till the whole flour, every bit of it, is dissolved, and then let it simmer till it thickens. And that's it. Come back to you. Alright guys, so there it is. There's your broccoli, there's your peas, there's your roasted potatoes with carrots, and there's the chicken. I just tasted it. It tastes delicious, you guys. And then there is the gravy. If your gravy is watery, add 1 or 2, 1 liter. I eventually ended up with 4 tablespoons of flour. But don't make them like, don't make a little hump of flour on your tablespoon, if you know what I mean. Just keep them normal filled tablespoons with flour. Okay, and keep stirring. There it is. All right. So this is what the princes and the princesses of the UK used to eat. This is a recipe that I learned from the royal family, in the UK, royal family chef. It was so easy. I thought, I don't know, it looks easy, I should try it. And guys, it is easy and it does work even with hot air fryer. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and guess see you guys soon. Guys, if we're wondering if we like this recipe, there's the proof. There's your proof.
I didn't like it.
This is just skin. I don't like skin, but we finished it all. This is my plate. I don't like skin, and I had the thigh. Mike had the breast, but it was really good. I'm just so surprised that without spices and herbs, that the chicken still is so flavorful. So, guys, if you make the amount that I gave you, this is what you'll end up with. So you'll have leftover for tomorrow. And if you want your gravy thick, don't worry too much about it, because the more it cools off, the thicker it gets. So just give it some time. Let it cool off a little bit before you serve it. But not too much though, because nobody likes cold gravy. Days of Christmas, Maple and Whiskey Candle and Co. from the Maple and Whiskey Candle Co. company. I know I shared this with you guys, but I just want to stress it one last time. From all the candles that Mike got us, we did a review of this. This is probably my #1, Days of Christmas, and it smells really, really good, and it gives you that cozy, warm, I don't know, like a kid in a candy store feeling, if you know what I mean. This one is really, really good. I don't know, it just calms you, gives you this nice cozy feeling. Get it? Yeah, this is the next morning. These are the leftovers. This is the gravy. And this is the chicken. I wanted to say 2 things, guys. One, like I said, this one is from the Royal Chef. This is an easy recipe that I saw on the page of the Royal Chef, the previous chef of the Queen of England and the princes and the princesses. But I wanted to share it with you because I adapted it to the hot air fryer. He didn't make it with hot air fryer. He was in his fancy, big, huge kitchen and his fancy, big oven. So I just wanted to say, to see if I can make this with a hot air fryer. And I did, and it turned out perfect, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. Another thing that I want to say is that if you're going to make potatoes from the oven, take a casserole that's spacious and make sure that you do not put too many potatoes in there, because for the potatoes to succeed from the oven, they need a little bit of oil, a little bit of salt, and space. So do not cram too much in there. Give them the space. That's actually the 2 things that I forgot to tell you. That's it. So yes, so this is my own adaptation. This is not something that I've seen elsewhere. And I just wanted to make sure that we can make this with a hot air fryer too. And like you see, we can. You're very welcome, guys. Have a wonderful day, and please try this out. It's healthy and it's delicious. And again, the perfect meal for kids. If you have family members coming over these holidays who have kids, like I said, we all know, I have many nieces and nephews. I know how difficult it can be with food. It's either pizza or fries. If you put them anything, no matter how fancy it is, especially meat, if it's too spiced, too herbal, too whatever, too marinated, they won't eat it. So this is perfect.